Can a judge's decisions shake the foundations of justice? Karoline Leavitt takes a risk to expose a judge's hidden connections and corruption, raising a big question about the legal system. Is true justice really being served? Karoline Leavitt sat her morning in her quiet office, reviewing a routine set of cases. At first, nothing stood out, but as her eyes scanned through the file, a subtle pattern began to emerge. The name of Judge Calloway appeared repeatedly in cases involving high-profile political figures. Her heart skipped a beat when she realized the inconsistencies, delays, strange rulings, and suspicious case transfers. It was as if the decisions were being carefully orchestrated to protect certain individuals. Calloway was a respected judge, known for his impeccable record. No one had ever questioned his integrity. But Karoline, with her sharp eye and instincts honed over years as a prosecutor, felt something wasn't right. Cases were being postponed or reassigned, evidence misplaced, and decisions seemed to be influenced by politics. It wasn't just procedural errors. This was something deeper. The idea that a judge might be manipulating the system for political gain was troubling, and Karoline couldn't ignore it. That night, she sat at her desk, staring at the evidence. This wasn't a minor issue she could overlook. She knew that if she didn't act now, the trail would grow cold. Karoline decided to take the investigation into her own hands, no matter what the cost. The integrity of the justice system, she knew, was at stake. She picked up the phone, called a few trusted colleagues, and began laying out a plan. This wasn't just about one judge. This was about the integrity of the entire system. The investigation had to begin immediately, and Karoline was prepared to lead it herself. The investigation into Judge Calloway was no easy task. As Karoline dug deeper, she uncovered a web of questionable actions that stretched back years. Delayed hearings, unexplained case transfers, and a series of strange messages that seemed to suggest political motivations. Karoline faced resistance from all sides. Some questioned her motives, accusing her of pursuing a political vendetta. Others whispered that she was overreaching, attacking a respected figure for personal reasons. Despite the criticism, Karoline pressed on. She understood the bigger picture. This wasn't about her career or about one judge. It was about public trust. The public needed to know that the courts were unbiased, that their decisions weren't being swayed by personal allegiances or political power. If Calloway was guilty, this wasn't just a personal failure, it was a systemic failure. The integrity of the justice system would be forever tarnished if powerful judges could manipulate cases with impunity. The pressure mounted as Karoline prepared to go public with her findings. The media was already buzzing, eager to pick sides. But Karoline didn't waver. When she addressed the press, she was calm, composed, and direct. She didn't rely on theatrics, she relied on facts. "We have gathered sufficient evidence," she said. "Judge Calloway has knowingly misused his judicial authority to obstruct investigations, shield certain individuals from scrutiny, and compromise the fairness of our legal system." The reaction was swift. Some supported her stance, while others accused her of weaponizing her office. Yet, despite the pushback, something shifted. Ordinary citizens who never followed judicial cases began discussing the matter in coffee shops, living rooms, and online forums. They wanted to know, could they trust the system? Could they trust the courts? Karoline understood that the hardest part was still to come. The case had barely begun, and the challenge of restoring faith in the system was just beginning. The trial of Judge Calloway was a slow, methodical process. It wasn't just about proving misconduct. It was about dismantling a long-standing reputation and exposing a hidden network of corruption. As the case unfolded, Karoline watched as the defense team tried to discredit her, painting the charges as politically motivated. They argued that the investigation was an overreach, an attempt to attack an honorable judge for personal or political reasons. But Karoline's team had the evidence. They presented documents, emails, and testimony that painted a clear picture. Case files had been manipulated. Hearings had been rescheduled at the last minute. Evidence had gone missing, only to reappear later under suspicious circumstances. And there were the emails, cryptic communications that suggested political favors, secret meetings, and decisions made behind closed doors, away from public scrutiny. Despite the defense's claims, the truth became undeniable. When the verdict came, it was clear. Judge Calloway was found guilty of willful misconduct and abuse of judicial power. He was removed from the bench and disbarred, ending his career. There was no jail time, but the consequences were permanent. Karoline didn't celebrate. She didn't hold a press conference. She simply walked into her office and stared out the window at the Washington skyline. This wasn't about her. It wasn't about a single judge. It was about a system that had been compromised. She had done her part, but the work wasn't over. She had opened a door that revealed the murky underbelly of the judiciary. And now it was up to the public and the legal system to decide what to do next. In the weeks that followed, Karoline's actions sparked a larger conversation across the nation. People began questioning the power of the judiciary, wondering how much of the legal system had been operating behind the scenes. But more importantly, they began to ask themselves, can we trust our judges? The nation was watching, and for the first time in a long while, people were paying attention to what was happening inside the courtroom. And Karoline Leavitt, though she never sought the spotlight, had made sure that the truth would always have its place in the light.